Welcome back to Eat the Canvas, where it is my goal to inspire you to grow more of what you eat. And on today's episode, it's going to be a mix of a little February garden tour in addition to some updates that took place in January, which one of them being right here. And if you follow me, you know what this means to me right here. I've been failing at this multiple times, growing pumpkins or winter squashes, and now we have a success right here. Now, I did have to pick this a little early. You can see the stem is a little wonky because it had powdery mildew all over it, so I picked it early. It's been sitting on the counter for about 2 to 3 weeks, and now I'm looking forward to cooking this up soon. This is beautiful, y'all. This is beautiful. Let's get to it. Start off with a few clips that I have gathered throughout January coming into February, and then we'll go into what is happening present day. So I just saw that the first saffron flower came up. And that red thread right there, that is the saffron before it is dried. Now this is obviously not a crazy amount, but it's still cool to see the things that you can grow. And the bulbs, the saffron bulbs themselves, just continue to replicate themselves. So eventually you can have even more. But this is just from 3 little flowers that I pulled up just now. All right, so it looks like the powdery mildew killed off these Kabocha squash vines before the stem was fully able to be wooded, but they can still be used. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip this off. Oh, had a root coming from there. There we go, y'all. From no squash to squashes. I already used one of these for soup already. I love it. Growth. Physically, and growth as far as knowledge is concerned. The fruits of growth and knowledge. And as of right now, each of our okra plants have at least one of these. That's about this big. Beautiful. All right, so back to present day. We're going to be starting with the side of the yard. And as you can see, these bananas up here. Let me give you a closer look. So these bananas are definitely still growing well. I just haven't cut off the rest of this yet. But yeah, there's a lot. I even see one of the smaller ones over here is trying to produce a little bit as well, which is pretty cool. Now we also still have the one that's in the front and doing well. It might be ready in about a month or so. We had to tie this up because it was leaning too much. I mean, it's still leaning, but it's leaning a lot less than it was before. And bringing it around to number 4, you can actually see the bananas peeking out of the petal right there. Some of the back sticking out as well. There's so many bananas right now. I also see that we have our first papayas coming in. There's one right there and one right there as well. Just harvested these Jing orange and bowling red okra as well. I'm probably gonna knock out these plants right here. So one of my goals is to grow foods that will be a lot of substance, and these really are. I mean, they're cool to have, but they're also getting attacked a lot by powdery mildew. I mean, they're still producing, which is great. But I think I'm gonna clip out these 3 and the 2 over there and that one right there, and plant something that will be a little bit more filling for me. These are baby butternut squashes right here. Looking forward to those coming up as well. Purple sugarcane, growing well. These collard greens right here, we picked them a few times. This thing is growing pretty good. So this is the Roma tomato transplant that I clipped one of the suckers off of. It's producing flowers already. So we're gonna be having a lot of tomatoes on a consistent basis. I'm fine with it. And over here, these seeds that I just scattered down this line, this kohlrabi and carrot seeds, have grown a lot since January as well. I think some of them might be ready in a couple of weeks. Let me see. Let me dig a little bit right here. Let's see if we can get a little close up. See what it looks like. Woo. You got it peeking out a little bit. Hold up. There we go. It's peeking out a little bit. Not ready yet, but in time. Now right here by our 2 cassava plants, you see these pile of leaves and branches right here. So our neighbor in the backyard has these trees that he put up. He has an Airbnb, and they reach over into our backyard a lot. So I just trim it from our side. And I'm just gonna start piling it as in-place compost. This is the garnet yam, I believe, and the purple sweet potatoes. They might be ready soon. I see the leaves starting to die out a bit here. And kohlrabi, which I know doesn't do well in the heat, got something forming right here. I'm looking forward to that. I love experimenting with stuff. Now over here by our Roma tomatoes, they got a little too heavy and started falling off the sticks. I'm not gonna change it though. I'm just gonna let it keep doing its thing. Maybe sprawl out on the ground. We got some color coming in this one right here. Got one back there, some over here. Looking forward to it. I'm actually gonna backtrack and pull out one of these carrots as a tester. I like testing things so I know what things are supposed to look like. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one right now. Wow. Yo, I just tried this for the first time right now on YouTube with y'all. Now I know it ain't ready. I mean, you can still eat it, but it's not deep in color yet. This is pretty cool, man. Seeing that I just scattered these seeds that were old and they produced. This is pretty cool. I leave these other ones in here for like another month or so. So maybe come, what is it, March garden tour, we should be looking at a lot of carrots. Oh man, I had to backtrack over here too. I almost forgot something. So I cut off 2 of the long branches on our Black Mission fig tree, and I stuck one of them right here. And look at that. I just stuck this stick in the ground. Now we're gonna have us another Black Mission fig coming up. And that random parsley I showed y'all last time that I saw coming up, a lot bigger now. A lot bigger now. I see another little one coming up right there too. Now this isn't gonna be a long garden tour since everything is pretty much the same. But these again are the Petite Greedurin melons. You can see powdery mildew has is seeking to consume these right now. So hopefully I can knock these off and we can see these things grow and fruit. Now over here, look at this. Hold up. I'm gonna start over here at my Seminal Pumpkins, which was just small and green last time. And now this beautiful thing is getting this honey nut color right here. Look at this, y'all. I was failing at growing winter squashes and pumpkins at first, and now we got some. That one's gonna be done first right there, and then the second one we have over here, it's kind of in between. You see the color coming in, that yellow color coming in, the green's kind of fading away, which is great. And then right next to it, whew, this was a little baby last time. Y'all saw this. Look at that. This is beautiful. And again, this is the Marina di Chioggia. I think it gets about 10 to 15 pounds. It's probably gonna be hitting it soon. I see that darker green color starting to come in as well. Now that's overall pretty much it. This is the the baby butternut squash that I have for the grow off that I'm doing. So I wanted to do another video on this one, but hey, y'all can see it's growing well. I see some powdery mildew right there trying to peek in, so hopefully I can get rid of that and it doesn't destroy this plant, but that's another video. So there's another thing that I will be adding to the garden as well, and it's what civilizations have been adding to the garden for centuries, even present day in certain areas, and that's just adding ashes back to the garden. And I mean, majority of the cooking obviously back in the day was with wood, so when they burnt that wood, those twigs, all those things like that, those ashes, which are essentially would be pure minerals, for majority of plants, they can truly benefit from them. So let me show you some of the wood that a neighbor of mine cut down, or where they cut down a tree, and they were gonna just toss all this wood, and I decided to keep some. Sat it outside, it got dry, and now I'm chopping it up. So this is what it looked like right here. It's crazy how light it gets once it sits out. They chop pretty easy with an axe. Here are the pieces right here, and I pretty much took off the center blocks that I had right here, because nothing can really grow back here like that. Doesn't get enough sun. And I made a little grill setup right here with those center blocks. There's some of the wood I chopped up right there. I have the bottom center block right here faced this way so it can get ventilation. The fire can get ventilation to continue to pick up. And once he's burned down, I'm gonna grill with this, multi-purpose, and then use these ashes down here once they all burn up to add back to the garden. Alright, here it is the next day. I let all of this stuff cool down, scrape the ashes up not too long ago, put it in this container right here. Now it's not forgetting, when you burn these trees and leaves and things like that, you're essentially rendering it all down to these pure sources of minerals. And I believe ashes in itself are largely calcium carbonate, which is like a lime for your garden. It's going to alkalize it a lot. So what you can research is that, you know, when your soil is too alkaline, it can actually hinder your plants from taking in certain nutrients that they need to grow and to be successful and thrive. So it's really using this moderately, or even making sure you get a pH test for your soils. I'm not going to go that deep. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this in the soil and do my own experiments over here. Now, a second part of the minerals that makes up 10% or less of the ash content is potassium. Potassium derives its name from potash, which quite literally is pot ash. So when plant materials were burned back in the day, I mean present day in some places still, when it was burned, it would act pretty much as like adding potassium today to your garden. And potassium is an amazing regulator of a lot of the functions of the plant in itself, just for overall health, overall productivity. So when you burned this wood that you might have had in your yard, it was essentially free minerals. Like I said, majority of that being potassium, potash, pot ash, and then it has different trace minerals in it as well as a little bit of phosphorus. So it's just an amazing source of fertilizer, if you will, if you have it around you. And let's say you can't buy fertilizers anymore, it's not forgetting that a lot of these organic things around us, they are made up of minerals. And when these things can be retrieved from them, these things can be added back to the garden. And a good thing about ash as well is that because the particles of it are so fine, they can almost immediately become one with your soil without really any breakdown time. So it's being careful with that, not adding too much. And if you want to get that pH test, you can. If you're wondering why your soil isn't growing anything, and you find out that it's too acidic of a soil, then you would benefit from adding more ash to your garden. And then if you realize you get a pH test and it's very alkaline, then you probably don't want to put it, according to research. I like testing things out anyways, in small portions of my yard, to see if what research says actually fits with what reality is. So, information isn't just being spewed out, that's just being received from other sources. So I love experimenting. But yeah. All right, so that's pretty much it. Eat the canvas. Grow more of what you eat. Let's get it.